So one night this sports car walks into a bar and it sees an SUV and it says, "Oh, SUV, you're looking mighty good tonight." SUV and the sports car, they kind of hit it off. They have a few drinks. Sports car looks at the SUV and says, "Hey, you want to go back to my garage?" Things happen. One thing leads to another. Sports car, SUV, I think you know what I'm talking about. 9 months later, this is born. This is a 2025 Ford Explorer SV. This thing has an identity crisis. It doesn't know if it's a performance car. It doesn't know if it's an SUV. It's both. And this is the product of Ford saying, I want to give family cars a real kick in the rear and make them actually fun to drive. And Ford has pulled it off unbelievably well. Thanks to Impex Auto Sales in Greensboro, North Carolina, we are going to take an in-depth look today at this 2025 Ford Explorer SV. This thing has 400 horsepower, twin turbo V6, 415 pound-foot of torque. It will seat 7 people. It has BlueCruise. It has massaging front seats. And I cannot believe this thing even exists. You know, whenever you see a Ford Explorer, you don't think to yourself, man, that's hot. I gotta have that. I don't know about you, but I think of the box, the kind of the toaster design of the early 90s first Explorers. I don't think of this beast right here. So let me quit blabbering and let's get into it. And you know, I was so excited in the intro, I kept calling it a Ford Explorer SV. It is ST, although SV sounds pretty good, doesn't it? Maybe that's the next lineup. Maybe a twin turbo V8 in an Explorer will be the SV. Who knows? But it's an ST, as you can see right here on this beautiful, sexy, dark, intimidating looking grille. You have Explorer right there on the hood. The beautiful blue oval right there. ST. You have the lights that are kind of integrated and all smoothed out right there. Then you have fog lights down below that. And then you have parking sensors there at the very bottom. I love that grille. And I love the fact that Ford is not shying away from the aggressive front end, because that just makes it look even faster. Then you have these gorgeous 21-inch wheels that are that dark carbon or charcoal color with those red brake calipers. This thing is sitting on Pirelli Scorpion Zero Performance tires. Then you have the black around the wheel arches to give it even more of a distinct look. Explorer down there at the bottom, integrated camera system right here, along with an LED side marker. But look at the inside. The inside is somehow performance car and luxury at the same time. By the way, this one has the stereo upgrade Bang & Olufsen, and that thing does just that. It bangs and it Olufsens. Red stitching right here. Sports car Alcantara looking on the seat. The seats are unbelievably plush and comfortable as well. They are heated, they are ventilated, they massage. ST. More red stitching all throughout here on these soft touch materials. 13-inch screen there with all kinds of cool things integrated. No buttons for the AC controls, which I'm not a huge fan of, but it is what it is. Racing inspired touches right there on the interior door panel. And then you open up to the rear seat and you have super comfortable captain's chairs with the continued ST badging right there on that seat as well. Nice pass through all the way to your third row seat, which happens to be folded down right now, but you have a tremendous amount of headroom in this thing in all seating positions. Then you come around to the back where your power door button is right here on the right. If you come to the R in Explorer and then go just to the right of that, you'll feel a little bubble, and you press that and it opens the power rear door, which when the third row seat is folded down, gives you a tremendous amount of storage. And here are a few buttons, a little panel right there, and that is going to be for your seat folding. As you can see, a white LED light right there to light your way. Quad tip exhaust, and then you have your tow hitch right here, which it will tow 5,000 pounds as equipped. And then all you do to close it up is to push that button right there, or you can use your remote. By the way, on the remote, it has remote start included, which I think is a genius thing. You're not having to pay a silly subscription fee. Doesn't that thing look just intimidating? I love how aggressive this looks. And if you are a soccer parent, you are just going to look unbelievably cool in this. And not only look cool, you're going to be able to drive cool, because this thing has the chops. It doesn't just look fast, it is fast. It's kind of like scary fast for an SUV. And let's get under the hood real quick to see what powers this thing, because it is a Ford Performance. You pull twice, and one of the nice things about the fact that when you pull twice, it releases it, so you don't have to do another latch. It just comes right up. So here is the heart of this magic machine. This is a 3-liter twin-turbo V6 that produces 400 horsepower and 415 pound-foot of torque. For those of you that aren't in the know, anytime your torque exceeds your horsepower, that's when it feels like a true race car. It feels fabulous. Look at that stabilizer bar that goes all the way across from one side to the other, that stabilizes the engine so that it feels more secure. It is mated to a 10-speed automatic that has paddle shifters, and that transmission shifts brilliantly. It'll do 0 to 60 in 5.2 seconds. Rear wheel drive is standard. All wheel drive is available. And like I mentioned, it tows 5,000 pounds. Seat is comfy. Like I showed you before in the intro, you have captain chairs. The back door is pretty big. It's like sizable, but that's to be expected because this thing is a big third-row vehicle that can fit 7 passengers, 8 passengers if you have the optional equipment for the third row or second row seat right here. You have vents all right here, USB-C plugs all throughout, no more USB-A plugs. And like I mentioned before, the headroom is just fantastically massive in this thing. You've got a couple of little controls here. You can slide the seat right there. But as far as second row room, completely comfortable. And I want to show you just how comfortable these front seats are in just a second. Now let's open the back and take a look at how the third row seats work, because like I showed you on the walk around clip, there is a bank of buttons that you have on the right side that allow you to operate the third row. Let's pull out these mats. This one has the nice WeatherTech mat in it. So let's pull that mat out. And then here is your third row. And then this bank of buttons right here. And this one says L+R, and you can hit that and it will very quickly bring up your third row seats. And then you can reach forward, do your headrest here, do your headrest here, and like I was telling you, take a look at all of the room that you have right here. And then you have a great amount of cargo storage right here. So it just keeps on going. You've got a couple of little side panels, extra storage, all right there. And then if you want to fold your seats back down, you can just hit this. It will automatically fold the headrest down for you, and you can fold that there. Another neat thing that I noticed that the back of it has is tie points. So you can see that you have a tie point right here. They're not metal, they're plastic, but you see that? So you can actually tie things down very similar to what you would do in a truck bed. You also have power points right here as well. Another handy dandy feature is your capless fuel filler. As long as the doors are unlocked, all you do is push that in, it pops out, you pull that open, easy fuel right there. You do not even have a gas cap. You just fill it up and go. So now we are obviously on the inside of the Explorer, and we're just going to be taking a look around, starting over here on the left side with your driver's door, where all of your lock, unlock, memory seats. You can see you have lock and unlock right there in 1, 2, 3. That's where you can customize the seat settings for up to 3 drivers. And then of course all of your mirror controls, window controls here, headlights are all right there. You do have automatic high beams and everything like that. You can see here there is a minus sign, and then over on the right side is a plus sign right there. That's going to be your paddle shifters with the 10-speed automatic shifting transmission whenever you want to go over into manual mode. And to go into manual mode, you can see there's the dial right here. You just push this M and that takes you over to manual. That is fun mode right there. Then this is a basically eyes. You can see there's flashing right there. I can't see that. I can only see that when I'm looking through my camera. That's because of the camera refresh rate. So I don't want you thinking that that's going to be blinking the whole time. That is not the case. I cannot actually see that. However, this basically monitors you to make sure that you're looking at the road, especially when you're using BlueCruise, which I used this morning, and it is fabulous. Check out your big map right there. And then of course you have the map over here as well, but this one is Android, basically Google Maps operating. And so it's up to date, and you can see there's Google is right there in the bottom left side of that map. So this is a very up-to-date and very synced map system. When I say synced, it is it just goes right along with you as you drive along. Then right over here is going to be all kinds of settings and menu. You can see there's a pages icon, and that corresponds with what's up there on the dash. We'll take a look at that in a second. And then here is phone and track and seek and scan, and then voice commands right here over on the right side. Nice ST badging at the bottom with a real sporty feeling steering wheel. I really love the way this steering wheel feels. Then over here on the left side is going to be all of your cruise control and everything. Volume, mute, and this is where you're going to activate BlueCruise and your radar cruise control, your lane mitigation, all kinds of things like that. Now let's take a look at what's up here in this dash or the screen that's right in front of you. I can press that menu, the pages icon that I just referenced just a second ago, and I'm pressing down on the OK tabs right now. Vehicle maintenance, status, phone, all that. That's how you change it to kilometers per hour instead of miles per hour. So you can hit My View, and that is what My View is right now. You can see you have a compass here, outside temperature, speedometer, fuel, and then your odometer right here. But you can display lots of things in this whenever you want to. So you're just pressing the menu, and then you can go trip and fuel, and we'll just go trip 1. And that takes it to a basic screen with your tach on the left, and then your miles per hour on the right, your speedometer on the right, and then pressing trip fuel again, status information, trailer light status, seat belts. Let's go temperature gauges, press that, and go on menu again, vehicle maintenance, audio, and then this is going to be all of your audio stuff, obviously. There's Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and I have to say, I have my iPhone hooked up to this thing, and the Apple CarPlay in this thing is super efficient. Now let's take a look at what's going on with this screen right here. I really like this screen. You can see that it does not get in the way of where you're looking whenever you look out. It is not taller than the dash, so that's nice, but it's still nice and big. It's not one of those huge, big integrated screens like you see in cars now. It is a single screen with a digital dash, and I like this setup. So that's your home button. That's for your car. So this is going to be a few things for valet mode, vehicle status, and then you can go to settings. And this is where you can go to your vehicle settings and you can change around a whole bunch of things. 30-minute max idle, rear occupant alert. And I love how Ford does things because they put little information buttons on the right side. And so you can just press that and it tells you what that does. And I like the fact that you can activate, I'm going to put alert only, and you can even go down to whether or not a child seat is installed. So you do not forget your most precious cargo in the world. Lighting, and this one has all kinds of cool lighting things. Auto high beams, that is active. Pressing back, easy entry exit, remote start setup, wipers, power lift gate. So you've got a lot of different things that you can customize. One of the things that I recommend is that you go to this screen early on if you purchase one of these, and you customize all of these things to do exactly what you want it to do. Then you have system settings, all kinds of things right there. Profile, this is where you can set up your specific profile. Signed in as administrator, you can set your specific profile. You can even have a profile avatar. Isn't that fabulous? Look at all the different things that you can choose from. And so you can set your profile avatar. You can link your profile. I think that would be like to a key fob. Yep. So you can link it to a specific key fob. So if you bring your specific key fob out to the vehicle and someone else's profile has been driving with another key fob, it will recognize your key fob and arrange things accordingly. Then there's display. I love it. So theme is blue. We can go copper, and it just changed the way the dash looks over here to copper. And it just changed it to green. I like green. That's nice. And then you have network and internet, 911 assist, location, notifications. So there's all kinds. Don't let this stuff intimidate you. If you can work a smartphone, you'll have no problem with this. It's not a big deal at all. Then you have a big, huge bank of different things that you can do right there. Look, Google News. That is pretty cool. Loading content, all kinds of news. And so right now it just turned on different news, general news things, all kinds of stuff. And this is all Google powered. But don't worry, just because it's Google powered or Android powered, that doesn't mean you can't use your iPhone. You can. It is still fully functional. In fact, mine is whenever my phone was connected earlier, I disconnected it, but it was connected earlier, and Apple CarPlay just popped right up, and it makes it super, super easy. Then you have your climate settings all right down here. I'm not a huge fan of that. I like separate climate buttons because when you're on a screen and it's a thing that you press on a screen instead of a physical button, you kind of have a harder time aiming and getting there. Although this screen is really touch sensitive and it's really easy to use. That is your heated and ventilated seat buttons right there. Then you have your heated steering wheel. So I have it on max ventilation right now, and the seat is nice and cool. You can also press this button. Let me go back and show you. You can also, there's a little arrow right here, and you can press that, and then you can see all of your airflow. So what's going on right now. That's kind of a futuristic way of looking at that. So this is your air conditioning screen. You can turn it off. You can go fan direction. You can link it. And but this is all the things as far as climate is concerned. Again, I like physical buttons, but that's just me. Then you have an area down here. You do have physical buttons right here. And this is going to be for your automatic start stop for your engine, parking, and then camera, traction control, and then your hazard lights. And then this is the automatic brake on. And then you have your volume control here, wireless charging, a little bit of storage, nice rubber mat right here. I just love this stitching right here. Carbon fiber looking trim, although it's not real carbon fiber. It looks really nice and kind of sleek and aerodynamic. Down here, looking at your gear shifter, cup holders, parking brake, drive mode, a little bit of extra storage. You just hit that button. There's charging inside of there, plus a good amount of storage. And then, so this is your dial where you change gears. So you put your foot on the brake, you just roll it to D. Now it's in drive. And then you can change drive modes right here. And you have tow haul, then you have sport, eco, normal, slippery, and trail. And this is not going to be like super crazy off-roading, but it's just enough if you are in bad weather and have some snow on the ground, you'll be just fine. And then there's manual drive, and that allows you to use the paddle shifters right there. Rolling it back into park, and then the brake will automatically engage right there. It sounds like some of the sound may be piped into the cabin. I'm not 100% sure, but it sounds great either way. Hear how fast it's shifting up through the gears? And I have noticed that the transmission shifting is more poppy. You can feel it more, much more pronounced whenever you are in sport mode, which is exactly what you would expect. 400 horsepower, 415 for the torque in an SUV that can seat 7. That's pretty impressive. I have a thing for how driver's seats feel, and I haven't spoken much about this on this vehicle. The seat feels great. The bolstering is good, the padding is good. It's not leather, but it's still ventilated and heated, of course. I can feel the ventilation, and it is cold. It almost feels like AC. Goosing it. Personality disorder. It is a straight up sports car, but I can do that with toting kids around and everybody's going woohoo. It just, I mean, even the feel of the steering wheel, everything about it feels like a sports car, but it's an SUV that can carry your entire family. It's just a glorious combination. So now this on my dash, it said BlueCruise is available. There's a little button right here that I'm going to press, and now the whole dash is blue. And look, I'm taking my foot off the steering wheel, taking my hands off of the steering, foot off the gas, hands off the steering wheel. We're going 65. And it's pretty cool whenever it goes into BlueCruise mode. I don't know if you can see that, but everything is blue and it says hands-free over here on the left. This monitor is now working to be sure that I've got my eyes on the road, and as the name implies, we are cruising. It is steering itself. This is kind of becoming, I don't want to say normal, but it is kind of becoming normal. Now it says keep hands on the steering wheel. So that's what, it doesn't work like GM's Super Cruise, certainly not Tesla's full self-driving, but there are patches on this road in particular, and I'd imagine it would be the same on most roads, where Super Cruise or BlueCruise is available, and then it'll say put your hands on the steering wheel and you have to re-engage. Right now I have to re-engage, although the radar cruise and everything, lane mitigation, everything, now look, it says hands-free is available. So there you go, we're hands-free again, and so now we're just going. So we're gonna get off here, so I'm gonna go to the right, and look, it's getting me over into the right lane now. That's pretty cool. So I just put my foot on the brake, it deactivated BlueCruise, and I'm gonna go over here to one of my favorite spots and really open it up and see what it's got from kind of a standstill. That was 60. Here it hangs. And now I'm going to flip the drive mode selector over into Eco. It's going to gear down, and now there's going to be more pedal travel required in order to achieve speed at this one. There is a little bit of road noise. I noticed that the noise from the tires translates into the cabin a little bit. The steering feedback, steering response is really good. It's not what you would expect in like a European vehicle, but it's much better than a typical SUV. Has much more of a sports car feel to it. You can hear the engine right now going up through. The gears, again, I don't know if it's piped in or not. It probably is, but it sounds good either way. It still sounds nice and sporty and capable even in eco mode. And I'm going to roll it to the right now and go over to normal. Normal is balanced everyday driving. That's what it said on the readout here. Corner, it sits flat. There's some body roll, as you would expect a big vehicle like this to have, but not too bad. The thing about the interior to me is that it is definitely a sport-like interior. There's no wood grain or even an attempt at any wood grain. It's all carbon fiber-esque and metallic and black and red. My overall thing about the Explorer is I love it. Just like you knew I would. I wish there were physical buttons for the climate system, and I wish the engine noise, if it is being piped in, whenever you have it in sport mode, I wish it was a little more throaty, a little more big, a little more deep sounding. But it is a twin turbo V6. It's all good. So I'm gonna flip it over into sport mode again, and let's kind of flex it a little bit here. There ain't nothing wrong with that. That feels so good. And then we'll flip it 2 notches over into normal, and we're good. And now BlueCruise should let me know where we have the capacity for it. But my overall thing, I love the cabin room. I love the acceleration, the steering, the comfort as far as the seats are concerned, the usability of the rear of it. You know, 7 passengers, plenty of room behind the 3rd row seat for storage. The overall look of the outside is just magnificent. It looks like it's been shot out of a cannon. It's aggressive and bold looking. I love the red brake calipers and the aggressive looking wheels and the badging on the outside and the red stitching on the inside. That's all aesthetics and all looks and everything. If there were anything that I would like to change about it, I would definitely change the fact that there's very little to no buttons right here. I like to have physical buttons, especially for the climate control system. I am not a giant fan of the turning dial to change gears, but it's easy to do, and I understand why Ford is doing it. But you know, I like more of a physical, like a shifting type of situation, and that's kind of it. I mean, it's a fantastic vehicle that I have really enjoyed my time with. Okay, everybody, that's going to do it for our look at the 2025 Ford Explorer ST. Let me know what you think about this vehicle in the comments section below. And remember, the most important thing of all, everybody, have a wonderful day.